I follow football.
Do you?
It is unbelievable how the names, the surnames of players, put the surname on the back of your shirt.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, you imagine a double-barrel surname. It's got to start at about your waist.
Oh, really?
And go up there and right round over the shoulders and whatever it is.
It's on the rise.
Oh, my word. I mean, what the heck is it all about? Right, well, to answer that very question and debate that very question, Maddy Alexander Grout, who loves her double-barrelled name, and Liz Brewer, who does what it says on the packet. Small and simple. Liz Brewer there, who says they're a thing of the past. Oh, I hate to contradict you, Liz. I mean, they're all the rage.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But for what reason? This was something that started in the 15th century, and it was all to do with hereditary. And if you didn't have a male heir, then somehow or other they needed to combine the surnames so that, the estate could actually go through the family. Or it was to retain a family name if they didn't have any young men, so that, they could actually keep that name. Nowadays, I question people with double-barrel names. Why is it necessary? Even treble-barreled names.
Yes.
And
I think it's to show up lineage. I think it is to say we're all connected, or let's not forget. I mean, families all break up nowadays, and it's to remember the ones that have passed on or whatever.
Well, then there's a reason. That I can understand. But otherwise, if it's to be impressive, I don't understand the reason why.
Well,
is it necessary?
Let's put that question then to Maddy. This used to be a thing for, I suppose, aristocracy, passing down their huge estates. Why is it on the rise now?
Yeah, so thank you for having me on. First of all, I do completely disagree with you, sadly. I have a double-barreled surname. I absolutely love it. I have been thinking about this for a while, actually, and it's not to appear grand or to look important, although I do run a business, so it helps me to stand out from the crowd a little bit. But the reason why I changed my name and got a double-barreled surname was mainly because of the fact that I had, a terrible surname from my husband. His surname was Grout, and I didn't want to be Maddy Grout because that was not a great name.
Why didn't you just ditch the Grout? Why don't you just ditch the Grout?
Well, my husband's very proud of his name. Yeah, well, my husband's very proud of his name. He really wanted to have his surname, so I thought it was rude of me not to have it, and I didn't want to keep my surname, which was Comrie. So I actually made him change his name by deed poll, so he had his middle name. So he was still James Alexander Grout, but I was the one who was being a bit of a diva and not really wanting to have Comrie Grout because I think that sounds worse, and then. My Maddy Grout was just, I thought it sounded a bit like a disease. And I was always bullied when I was a child for having the name Comrie. My dad was a rubber merchant, and you can imagine the kind of jokes that would come from a name like Comrie and having a rubber merchant for a dad. So I just thought, I'll go against the grain and kind of make up my own name. But I've had it for the last 7 years.
Well, Maddy, it sounds like a sort of creative, artistic approach to choosing your name. Liz, do you buy that? I mean, we've had an email in from Mike in Kent. He says, I think people just want to be posh. Do you think there is an element of pretentiousness in all of this?
I'm afraid to say yes. Maddy, I still don't understand why you had to have two surnames, as it were, because if you didn't like the Grout, you could have just stayed with Alexander, the first part of his surname. I mean, I was married. Hang on a minute. I was married, and very happily for 10 years. But I have to admit, I never changed my name. I had on the marriage certificate, it would have been Mrs. Elizabeth Rendell. But I had a business, just like you, and I was known as Liz Brewer, and I kept that name, mainly for professional reasons. It never occurred to me to do Elizabeth Brewer Rendell or Liz Brewer Rendell. Never occurred to me. And what a mouthful. So it's always been Liz Brewer.
But if you'd have been Liz Rendell, you could have had a show on ITV in the afternoon. Like, Liz Rendell investigates.
With lions.
The Liz Rendell mysteries. It has a sort of ring to it, hasn't it?
Yeah.
But it is fascinating about the whole... I mean, I've been reading this, and the whole thing about double-barrelled names or double names. And, you know, there is a necessity for it in the professional world, but also for same-sex marriages. And still, for even in today's world, with inheritance, and that's how it started. It was all to do with retaining the estate in case there wasn't a male heir. That's the historical reason for it. With you, Maddy, I would have thought you'd had enough self-confidence to be able to stick to your own name with your business and have your married name.
Oh, I've got plenty of confidence, Liz. Don't worry about that.
But you didn't have to have a double-barreled name to get that, as you pointed out, in order to
I didn't have to, but I wanted to have something that incorporated my husband's name, but also something that I'd chosen because I didn't want to have Comrie. And I think that now it makes me stand out. You know, I'm a money specialist, and there's
I would have thought it would make you stand out with your ordinary name. I don't see that adding that double-barreled name makes you stand out. I question. That I question. Mark, I looked up Grout. It does mean that his great-great-grandparents were something to do with grinding meal. So maybe you're right not to have Grout. I don't know.
I do still have Grout, and my husband's very proud of his heritage and his family.
And so he should be. And so he should be.
Yeah. And so the brewers, your lot were all drunks, weren't
That's right, absolutely. We were brewing with.
Well, you know, there's a rise as well, I think. I've noticed that some men are now taking their wives' surnames in a double-barrel form. What do you think about that, Liz?
Wives are taking...
Sorry, some men are now taking their wives' names. Forgive me.
See, if you hadn't do that stupid look down the camera, you could just look
to
her hair. Yeah.
I know, you're right.
So some women are now taking their husband... What? Right? I'm so confused.
So some wives are taking their husband's names.
Yeah. No, I've got that totally wrong. Eamon would be Eamon Langsford Holmes in a nod to your wife.
And he'd be Eamon Brewer Holmes with a nod to me, should I have been fortunate enough to be his wife.
It's still hopeless. But I don't feel the need to give anybody a nod, really.
Well, that's just you.
That's just me.
Some men feel they want to.
I still don't. I can understand it for official reasons, for reasons of inheritance, but I don't see it for any other reason.
OK. It's a bit of a fashion accessory with some people. We're not saying it is with you, Maddy. A very interesting story, Maddy. Thank you for telling us the whole thing, and it gets people talking today about the length of their names. So can they go to triple-barrel names?
Yes.
Oh, look, you've upset someone, Maddy. James Comrie's just got in touch. Maddy doesn't like the name Comrie. Well, we're Comries, we love it. It's not mundane, it's very different. See, this is such a minefield, isn't it? We're offending everyone.
It wasn't that, just to clarify, it wasn't because it was mundane. It was more the fact that it didn't go with Grout. And it was, I'm actually very proud of being a Comrie. My dad's still a Comrie, but, it's a lovely name.
There we go. Guys, got to say goodbye to both of you. Thank you very, very much indeed. Your names are just too long for us to recite.
Maddy and Liz, thanks.
Maddy and Liz, thank you. Leave it there. Thank you very much indeed.